So we're here with DramaScream. How many times does this make?
Oh.
6? 5?
What was the first year? 2018?
Yeah, 2018 was it?
Probably.
So,
I think,
Was
I
it?
think it was 2018.
Either 17 or 18. I
So let's
think.
Yeah, because it was when... Yeah,
So that's 8.
Wow.
maybe.
9?
8 or
was
6.
6 years ago.
It's probably 6.
Depends on your math.
My math is...
Oh, it
Yeah.
might be 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. If we played every year, it'd be 8. Did we play every year?
Okay, yeah, you
Because I don't think we missed. We were the last band for COVID.
You weren't the last band, but you were
Well,
one of the only bands who
Yeah,
played
yeah,
during
yeah.
2020.
Okay.
Because you were, I think, the second band, because I think we had Floodlands, and then we had you.
Okay.
The last band that played was White Tides in March.
Okay. We were like
End of January,
I think it was-
February.
okay.
I think it was February 29th, I think. Because it was a leap year that year.
Oh, really?
Really?
He could be just making this up. And
I
we
know.
wouldn't
That's why you never know. He's got one of those faces.
No, it's... Because I think that year was the cops were yelling at me because I couldn't park there to unload.
Oh.
Oh, right.
Oh.
And,
That's not a problem here.
yeah, it's just handier. That's
No
way
cops.
handier.
So, what has happened in the last year? 'Cause it's been almost... last time you played was October, so it's been a little over a year.
What has happened?
You've not changed drummers, but changed drummers.
Yeah, so...
Quite, very
So
quiet.
temporarily, we have... This is Jordan Green. He is in a band
Plethora.
that have played... Yeah, Plethora. Okay, Jordan, just say what you're in. So, I don't know.
Yeah, my band Mob Day has played with you guys a couple times, and yeah, I do
You're normally
that.
on guitar.
Yeah,
Yes.
drums are actually my first instrument,
Oh.
but I wanted to be a guitar player, and just kind of made Mob Day around that.
And introduce the rest of yourselves, since I didn't do that.
Oh, I'm Lauren. I'm the vocalist.
I'm Steve. I'm the guitarist.
My name's Greg, and I play the bass guitar.
Lead bass.
Lead bass.
Yeah.
He also does the most talking for the band.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
So what happened? Where's your actual drummer?
All right.
Why do you have an imposter?
So Justin, he was at work and something happened. What did he do?
He hurt his hand first.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
hurt his hand.
He had
So
a piece of metal come down and swung, and it caught his hand.
It ripped his
ripped
hand open, so he had to get
Oh.
stitches. And so we knew at that point we were getting ready to play with. Oh, it was 10 Years and Conquer Divide show.
Okay.
We were going to open for them, and we were like, oh man, we might need a drummer. So Justin was like, I'm like, you have 1 week, because it was 2 weeks from the show. I go, you have 1 week to tell me if you can play. So a week goes by, and on that week that went by, we were trying to figure out, and he's like, well, I probably can't play, and that was on like Friday or something. So I get a hold of Jordan, and I'm like, hey, you think you could learn our songs in a week? And he was like, sure. So Jordan's starting to learn, but in between there, Justin decided it would be a good idea to ride his
Motorcycle.
motorcycle.
Okay, I was going to ask.
Yeah, and when he was riding, he was almost home, and a goat jumped out in front of him, and he hit the goat, and he felt like he was going like 60. So he hit the goat, beheaded the goat, fell off the goat, and what he did was he didn't actually break anything, which we're all very surprised.
Yeah.
He did break
He broke the goat.
He broke the goat, which is kind of metal, right? He beheaded a goat. He scraped all the skin off of his Achilles, so he had to get a skin graft. So now Justin, we're hoping, can play in January, but he's out of commission for a while.
That is a great story if you're going to have to get hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he has
So-
a shoulder injury and a foot injury.
I was waiting for you to say the goat just walked off after.
No, that would be actually really funny. But
He walked
Justin's
he
got a
walked
really
off the
bad
earth.
history with animals. There was one show before we played a show that an owl flew in Justin's car and hit his head, and he got a concussion.
Wow.
Yeah, he was on the highway,
Yeah.
and the owl just swooped into the window, hit him right in the head.
And he got,
So what you're saying, he has the best luck out of all of
yeah,
It
Yeah.
said it only has to do with animals.
It's
Another
always-
time we were
Yeah.
going to a gig.
It was
and
for Rick
It was for Rick.
when you hit the deer.
Yeah, I remember that.
He hit a deer.
Hit a mailbox, went through a mail. Yeah.
Well, we didn't hit the deer.
Oh, they
Justin swerved to miss
And then
the
they
deer,
hit the mailbox.
And then we hit the mailbox.
Yeah.
I mean, hitting a deer in this area is, I mean, you're lucky if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
about
it
an
just
owl?
seems, yeah, the owl was impressive.
The owl's,
Yeah, or you can
owl
get hit by
flying
an
through the
owl.
window is impressive.
I think-
Someone was like, "Oh, it was a run by hooting," and I thought that was really funny. I think Chris from Fret Point
Yeah.
said that.
I've hit an owl once, but it didn't go into my car.
Yeah, no, it went right in his window.
Yeah.
There were so many like little
Vaccine.
jokes we would say to him because someone was like,
Buckle
"Owl
up.
get you!" Like it was
Oh.
really bad for a while for Justin when the owl gave him the concussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
So-
we were like, I'll
Oh,
always love you.
yeah.
How did he get a concussion? Did he slam his
It
head
hit him
through-
in the head.
His
Oh,
window.
it's
His
The owl
it
gave
flew
him a
in the
concussion. The
window.
owl came in so fast it hit him in
He
the
had
head.
He had the window down.
He had the window down. The owl hit him in the head, and then it came in the car. So then his friend was in the car. His friend punched the owl, and the owl like went "Woo," and fell back. And then they stopped the car, and the owl flew out. But Justin got a concussion because it hit him in the head because he was going like 60, and it hit him at 60.
Yeah,
So.
so he
Yeah.
got headbutt by an owl.
Yeah. Yeah.
That kid.
That's a tough owl.
Yeah.
There was owl shit all over the car.
I bet. Yeah.
Yep, we forgot about that part too. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I think out of all the shows that you guys have played for me, you guys have only missed 2.
Yeah. And they were both because of Justin.
Yeah, one time he was in the hospital, and the
Yep.
other time he tried not to hit a deer.
Yeah, and that's when they were.
were.
He was sick with something.
Well,
You were supposed to play, I think, September 20th this year. And it happened like 2 days before that or something.
2 weeks. It was it was. We played with Conquer Divide like the 9th was
Okay.
our Conquer Divide show. Justin got hurt 2 weeks before that, and we were like, "Can we do it? Can we not do it?" Blah 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 blah.
well.
So it was just.
And Steve, I think you just messaged me and said, I think we're going to have to reschedule. Our drummer hit a goat. And I was like, wait, what?
It's real. It's real.
Yeah.
It's really
Who
real.
would have thought?
And then you go into more detail, and I went, what?
Would have thought.
Yeah, he was. I think I sent you the picture of his foot.
Yeah, yeah.
His foot was with a. I think that was after the skin graft. Right?
Yeah, I don't even remember. It was so gross.
It was all open.
Yeah,
It was.
Yeah, I think we all got to see that, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So we're just hoping for a speedy
Yeah.
recovery, but who knows how long.
Meanwhile, he likes being in as many bands as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deputy's been.
I always complain that I need a break. Yeah. I take every gig that comes my way. So.
So you did play us 3 new songs.
Yes.
Not you didn't play them you didn't play them live in the stream, but you have 3 new songs.
Yes.
And they will be coming out soon.
Maybe 2025.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well,
I
that's
can tell you
soon.
that much. That's all I know. But we are working on other songs other than that. I think we have a couple more. We're not sure how we want to do it, but we might end up being an owl. It might end up being an album.
It'll be a hoop.
Yeah, it'll probably end up being an album, but we'll just be releasing singles periodically.
Which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had to cancel the video shoot too.
Yeah, we had to cancel our video shoot because Justin couldn't
yeah.
even drum in the video shoot. So we were gonna have a video, but we don't even know what song. Yeah, so it's,
Oh, you don't know which song yet?
no. Yeah.
So what would have been your best shows the last year?
Probably the one that Justin wasn't at.
Actually, yeah. Well, the 10-year. Yeah. So the
10-year show.
the
was
10-year
Justin
show was
wasn't there.
awesome when we played with Conquer Divide in 10 years. That was a great show.
That
It
was
was
a good show.
a
Yeah.
packed show. I mean, we met so many people. It was great. Also, we opened for Cold. It was supposed to be Orgy and Cold, but something happened with the drummer for Orgy.
Couldn't play that night.
Yeah.
Did he also hit a goat?
No. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was sick or whatever.
Yes.
But that was also a
Something
great
at
show.
home, I think.
That was really good. We actually played with the band Adelita's Way a couple times this year. And those were good shows.
Nice.
And then we just had our last hometown show. Did we have one this year too? I don't remember, but we had a hometown show this year, just us.
Ransom Steel. That was.
That's what I'm saying. Our last
Last week
hometown.
was fun,
It was great.
So
it was
I thought
awesome.
I played Thirsties right before the tour this year?
Well, yeah, I think we did play our hometown. So both hometown shows we had were insane. It was great. Everybody was great.
Got a mini tour.
Yeah, what's the spot to play now since the other spot's kind of gone?
So right now, Thirsties, where we are, so I don't know if it's kind of like that here. We don't have any venues actually. We have an arena and then we have bars, so we don't have any mid-size venues really. So Thirsties is a bar, but it's a good-sized bar, so we play there, and they allow original music. And then we just played Ransom Steel, and they wanted to see how metal went over there. And I mean we're not the heaviest, but like
Right.
for them, they love like country music and etc. So for them we were heavy, right? So they loved it and it was great and the response was great. It was a great crowd. So I think that's going to be a spot possibly. It's
Nice.
just it was kind of difficult to,
I get
navigate.
that with F&As too, because
Yeah.
F&As will tell me, he's like, when you have your shows here, we have less problems here than when we have other styles of music.
Yeah, and that's what they didn't understand. They were like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And we had like a very nice mosh pit, but it was like a share, like a help your friends mosh pit.
Yeah, they were so
Yeah.
polite in that.
Yeah, it was like the nicest mosh
Sorry.
pit ever. If there was a mosh pit on like Bluey, that would be the mosh pit.
So it wasn't like going to a Knocked Loose concert and getting your
No,
fist
because we
kicked.
told everybody, we were like, hey, please don't be crazy. Like, you can mosh, but like, we have to respect the venue because we knew that if that happened, we wouldn't be welcome back.
Right.
Right.
So we were like, hey, mosh, but like, pretend you really don't
Don't-
want to hurt someone. 'Cause
Don't
there's-
destroy the venue.
Yeah.
Don't kill
so,
anyone.
So they were really cool, and everybody was just like moshing but helping each. So it was good. It was good because where we are in our area, it would be a nightmare if people.
And what area are you from?
We're from the Binghamton area,
Okay.
technically Endicott, but
Yeah, there used to be a decent number of clubs in Binghamton at
Yeah,
one point
no.
in the 90s.
I've heard this. I've heard
Yeah.
this. I was not.
There was the
we were
Strike
not.
Zone, there was the Taz. The Taz was
Everyone
probably
tells
the
us
best
all the
one.
I live by
time.
the Taz, or what used to be the Taz. I live
Yeah.
up the street from there.
Is
Oh,
there
okay.
a bar called Fitzy's?
What was the place that you
Yeah.
There
guys,
was Fitzy's and
what was the place where
Ronell's.
you guys had the release show for the second record? That was like, it was like a
Probably
food
Topper.
joint bar.
Oh, that was it.
That was Thirsties.
But the-
Oh, Thirsties.
But the owner or something passed away like during
Oh,
COVID.
Topper.
Oh, that is Topper. yeah,
Topper.
that was Topper.
Because the first one.
So
I think, was Kelly's.
Topper, I don't know how to explain this. So some bars don't want to charge a cover, and we get paid by the cover charge.
Right.
And because we have more than one band, there's 3 bands. So some bars are like, well, I'll give you like $300. And I'm like, there's 3, what? And we got to pay sound. So
Yeah.
some bars we can't play because there's not
You're gonna
enough
be losing
room.
money.
Yeah, there's
Right.
not enough room. And they also want to give you a guarantee, which I understand that works for cover bands, but that doesn't work for original
Yeah.
bands. Does
Right.
that make am I explaining that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just they don't want to charge a cover. Like we've said, okay, we'll play. You don't have to pay us. We'll just take a cover. But you've got like Grandpa, whoever comes in, and he's like, I'm not paying, and they get all upset, and so we just don't even want to bother with it.
Huh.
Yeah.
What was this mini tour you did?
We did 2.
Oh.
So we went. First was God, what was first? Oh, Brooklyn,
Strasbourg,
Stroudsburg,
Fredericksburg,
Fredericksburg,
and Providence,
Providence,
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Providence, Rhode Island.
Yes,
Yeah.
How did the
We
Brooklyn
did that.
Show go over?
Huh?
How did the Brooklyn show go over?
real good.
The Brooklyn show was good. It was really cool. Just a really cool venue. It's 3 venues.
Hmm.
There's like a big, medium, small.
Oh,
So it was
okay.
really cool. But we actually got in and out of the city really easy. So it was nice.
Because New York City is one of the harder ones to get crowd attention at.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. There was a couple of shows that it was, I mean, we're not,
Yeah.
people,
no,
you go
exactly.
to a place and nobody knows you are, but it was worth it in the sense that the people that came out were like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. So that was cool. Providence was great. Actually, we plan on going back to Providence.
And you played with other bands locally.
Oh yeah. And that was nice. We made connections with some other bands, but we ended up meeting like some really. Brooklyn was actually great because we ended up meeting like a really great sound engineer and
Nice.
connected with them, and they said, you know, we'd like to have you guys back again. So we've made those relationships.
What was the name of that club?
The Monarch.
Monarch. Okay. Not heard of that one.
Yeah.
It sounds like a hotel bar or something.
Yeah, right. The Brooklyn Monarch. I think there's the Wood Shop. There's 3 different ones. It's like the Monarch is the overarching one, and there's like the Wood Shop, the something, and whatever. I don't know if they all are.
No, my monochromatic black
Ginger's
play-
playing there.
Monochromatic black place somewhere in Long Island called Abneyville, I think.
I've heard of that. I have heard of that venue. Yeah.
So what do you have coming up?
January.
Well, we got one show coming up in 2025 right now. We're headlining a show in Syracuse at the Song and Dance. I think it's January 25th. It's a Saturday.
Okay.
So that's coming up. We're starting to plan for 2025. We're gonna do another little tour. We're gonna add some stuff, but the day and age of music and touring has kind of changed a little.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we have to focus on content and we're going back in the studio. So, I want to play as much as possible. We all do. But we don't have as much planned out yet just because there's some behind the scenes stuff going on, which is, it's good stuff, but we're just really not sure where we're going to land
Gotcha.
yet, you know.
But there will be new music in 2020.
Oh, there will be. There will be, yes, lots of new music.
And you just released your Duran Duran cover,
We did release our Duran Duran cover.
which you played us like a year ago, I think.
Yeah, we had that song was done in 2022.
Okay.
It's been done since 2022. I don't know why we hold.
Yeah,
Our Given Up cover was done for like 2 or 3 years too. But we just hold on to things. Like I don't know why we just don't release them because we're like, oh yeah.
I want to say that you might have sent the Duran Duran cover to me like shortly after what was supposed to be the Red show.
Yeah, I would yeah because I've had it done since September of 2022.
Yeah. So that's available. Where is your stuff available?
Spotify, iTunes, I think Amazon, all the I think every single platform.
You still have a Bandcamp?
No, we went
No.
off Bandcamp. It was what was the reason you pulled us from Bandcamp because that's my water.
You want me to put it back in?
No.
Okay.
Why'd you pull us off Bandcamp?
Wasn't much revenue there.
No, not really.
There was I knew it was something with like we weren't even making like they were taking just way more than we had thought and most of our sales are now so we have a website so most of our stuff's coming from our website now.
Okay, and that is what?
DramaScream.com.
Nobody uses websites.
I was gonna say when I first heard of DramaScream, I think I bought the album because one of the dudes in Threat Point told me about it. I was like, well, let me check this out and see if it's something I like. And then when I heard it, I was like, okay, I'm going to pursue this a little bit further. And that's what's brought us to
I
now.
was just thinking about how did we first come here, and I'm like, how was it? I'm like, how did they invite us? Who was the ones? And it was Threat Point. When we first started out, Threat Point was such a big like advocate for us. They were so great to us.
Mhm.
Like I have to say,
the drummer's name wasn't the drummer's
CJ.
name? CJ, yeah.
yeah,
He was the one because he mentioned you guys to me. He's like, definitely try and get them on
Yeah.
Metal Fest. And I think you guys
we
did at least 2 or 3 of those, right?
yeah they had originally we met because they were looking for a girl to scream on their was it R.I.P. Was that the name of that album?
Yeah.
On that album, and I did that song "Angels with Broken Wings" with Chris. So I went in the studio and did it, and they were like, "Do you have an original band? Why aren't you in an original band?" And I was just like, "Well, it's really hard to get them in our area." And they kind of like lit the fire under me to do it, because I had tried so many times to have an original band, and the amount of times I had people say, "Well, we're not looking for a female singer." I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
you didn't even let me sing yet. Like it was just, no. And especially where we are,
Yeah.
it's just a very weird
Wait,
thing.
you're female?
I am. I know.
We'll talk
Shut up.
about it later.
So anyway, they were like, we're not looking. And so they kind of just gave me the push I needed because I didn't have a lot of confidence when it came to that. So I was like, yeah, we could do this. And we had been writing, but it was just finding the people. And it took us a year.
Still looking.
Shut up. It took us about a year to get Greg. And then Justin came like right after
And then
Greg.
Jordan came.
Yeah, and then Jordan came.
Along
And everybody
Jordan.
came, so Now we're all
We all came.
we all came. And now we're
Now
That's
that
why-
you're all satisfied.
That's why it's called Come Play.
Getting
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So, I think Rick got the album from you. We have a shared folder for The Last Exit and the Metallic Onslaught for all the
Okay.
new music, so he put it in there. And I would every week go through all the new music in the folder right before I did the show, and I do it very blindly. I don't
Yeah.
pay much attention to what, because I don't care if it's a band I know. If it's not good, I'm not going to play it.
right.
And I always want to give stuff that I may have previously not liked a chance. So I go through pretty blindly, and I got to yours, and I looked down the song titles, went Taking Over. That's an Overkill title. Not a song, but an Overkill title. So that's the one I picked to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
And you started screaming, and I'm like, who the hell is this band? Oh my God, this band is awesome. Who is this? And
Thank
like,
you.
and then I looked you up on Facebook. I'm like, and they're local. Oh, this is awesome. And I think right then I messaged you and went, do you want to come up and play the studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was like we Threat Point, and then you guys between this community of everyone, like you guys have helped us immensely. Like
Good.
just
Good, that's the goal.
yeah, it is, and it works, and everyone's like great. And I gotta say, like there's negative, but people like you guys in other bands, like you've given us, you've been like a driving force for us, because like okay. Like we've seen the growth now, right? Like we've seen
Yeah.
where we started, and when we come on here and like where we are when we interview with you, it kind of brings us back to like, okay, yeah, we are doing something. Like, because sometimes you feel stagnant, you know, like
Sure,
especially after
sure.
COVID, it was very stagnant, and
Yeah.
you're like, why am I doing this? Should I even do this? You know, and
Yes,
it's very
you should.
difficult. It's very difficult, you know. But it's difficult. It's hard to persevere sometimes,
Right,
You know?
because it's hard to make a living doing
Right,
this.
right, and that's what we ultimately want to do. And I think that it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. I think it's
It is.
possible. It's just everything's just so different now. You don't tour like. You know, when we were a kid, it was like, oh yeah, you go out and you tour 100 times, and then that's all you got to do to make your mark. And now it's like you could tour for 300 days a year, and nobody's gonna care if you don't have social. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you have
So-
to have the engagement, absolutely.
Yeah.
You got to talk to fans, you got to,
And we love to do that, you know, but it's hard because I'm private. You know, I don't
Yeah,
want to be
yeah.
like, hey guys, did you see me eat an orange? Look at me eating my orange. Isn't this so cool? I'm so trendy because I'm eating my, like, I don't want
Did
to
you
be.
post that orange video?
No, I didn't post it. But it's hard. I just want to be like, here's my music, like us, and that's all I want to do.
Right, yeah, no,
But
I
they
get
want
that.
more from you,
Yep.
or they want some sort of gimmick. Like, I've seen people posting, like, oh, this is girl metal. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, girl metal? I was like, what is...
That's a new one.
Yeah, and I was like, what is? I thought it was just metal.
There was-
So I don't know. It's there's just so much. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Artifact Records put out a compilation last year or something, and the name of it was "Misogyny is Not a Music Genre." And I went, "Oh, that's beautiful. That's really good. I like that."
Yeah. Well, honestly, it's just
It kind
People
of
are
is,
crazy.
unfortunately, a little bit.
yeah. I know. Yeah. Well, because the people will be like, oh, well, I remember a long time ago listening to a Hailstorm interview, and I remember Lizzie Hale. They were looking for labels, and they were like, oh, we already have a female-fronted band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, we felt that like it's its own thing.
Box checked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Move
crazy, right?
Yeah,
like
that's exactly it.
it's like what that. I mean, obviously, it's not as much like that now, but still.
No, but there is still occasionally
Yeah.
people who are like, "Oh yeah, I don't like female-fronted bands." It's like,
Oh,
well,
yeah. I've had
they
people-
all sound different. How can you just not
I've
like?
had
you
people.
know-
I had a girl come up to me and go, "No offense, I usually don't like female singers, but I like you." And I was like, "I don't even know if that's a compliment. Like it
Yeah.
is, but it." I've had a lot of people who go, "I usually don't like females." I'm like, "But I like you," and I was like, "Okay, cool."
We normally do. We've been doing it since like 2016. We do a 50 years of metal show at the end of the year and count back, play a song from every year. So last year, I don't remember what happened, but I didn't have anyone to do the show with, and I went, let me do something different. What if I do? How far back can I go with women in metal?
Yeah,
Turns out it was 46 years.
really.
Wow.
Got all the way back to 1976 with a stoner doom band from Sweden that was all female.
Well, of course, it was Sweden. That would have been
Yeah.
my. If I had to guess, I would have said Sweden.
And I'm going, this is really good. Like,
Really?
okay. And then like 77, the only thing I could find was Heart. And I'm like,
What's that? What's her name? Doro.
Doro started in the early 80s. with
Okay,
Doro.
that's one name that
There's
I've
Coven,
I've
too.
heard.
Huh?
Coven. That was like 1968, I think.
Did Coven start that early?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
who-
I'm trying to do it every single year. So once I
Yeah.
got to a year where I couldn't find a band,
Oh,
then that's where it had to stop. You
Right.
know.
oh, consecutive.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So it was and so after a certain point, there's tons of women in
Yeah.
metal, but like once you get to the '80s, it's pretty easy because
Yeah.
there's so many women in thrash bands.
Yeah,
That was the thing. That there was all these thrash bands with female singers,
yeah,
and they were just accepted. It was like, yeah, that's fine. You know,
Yeah,
no
it's-
one.
it's- yeah.
It was the bigger bands that it was like, oh, you have a girl singing? Okay, you're over in this little
Yeah.
section here.
The Europeanness of I don't know if that's even a word. I'm making up words.
Europeans.
They
I've
like
heard that.
they were good with female fronted more like
Thanks.
melodic rock bands. Like they've
Yeah.
always had it.
Yep.
And then like Evanescence and well, I guess what was that band? Garbage. I guess kind of
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, well, I
right. They're kind of like rock, but I
Yeah.
meant like that. Like I guess what I'm thinking
mean,
of
commercial.
is yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Evanescence had like the down-tuned, guitars and stuff. So that's the first like American,
But they weren't really metal.
right? But that's
Yeah.
what people thought of as
Yeah.
like heavy
Yes.
because
Oh,
now
yeah,
you hear
yeah.
that and you're like, well, that's because like Arch Enemy and all
Yeah,
those bands.
yeah.
I heard that and I was like,
Well,
whoa,
people would say to me, well, there was no women in metal before Evanescence. And I'm like,
what?
what? First of all, not metal.
yeah, that's
Second
not
of all,
no.
do you want a list?
Yeah, and that's what's crazy is we're kind of like selfish over here in the U.S. We're like, it's all about us. We know what it. No, it was like way before us.
Yeah.
We need.
Oh, yeah.
We're not cultured enough.
And Doro's a great example. I mean,
Yeah.
Warlock did fantastic. I mean, they toured with Megadeth and Sanctuary.
Yep.
That's a big tour.
That
was
is huge. I didn't know that.
Then she did her solo stuff, which didn't go over as well. Then the grunge era kicked in, and they didn't release her stuff in the U.S. for a few years. But she was still there all through the 80s.
Yeah.
And she still is going. She's in probably almost 60 at this point,
Mhm.
and is still going strong, still putting out good stuff.
Yeah, Randy
Wow.
and Joe did an interview with her.
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and how to market yourself in today's environment is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what. I mean, it's, one of the only bands I know that really did well was One Eyed Doll, and they toured nonstop. And they did things like, it's $100 to come hang out with us on the bus.
Yeah.
And they would
We
just...
have a van, so that's kind of
Yeah.
creepy.
Right. Squeeze in, squeeze
You can
in.
sit by our Cheeto crumbs.
They give you $100 to knock it out.
and they had like 2 tons of merch. And they said
Merch is our.
it wasn't
thing,
so
yeah.
much the record sales. They would
It's
sell
the merch.
CDs, but it was the merch.
Yeah, that's the same for us.
And they were all independent, so they got 100% of the money from anything they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it takes a lot to get to
It
that
does,
point.
and like, and it's not a boohoo like, whatever. It's just hard when you're not wanting to constantly be on the camera. Like
Yeah,
there's,
exactly.
I commend all these people who are on YouTube every day doing a cover after cover after cover after cover
Oh,
after cover.
Yeah.
I'm just my dream, my vision as a musician isn't that.
Yeah.
So I try to at least stay true to myself still, and it's kind of difficult because I get it, and maybe they have the same dream as I do, but it's just I don't. That's not the path I want.
Well, you're also, I mean, you're not pushing out new music constantly, but when you put out new music, it's solid, it's good.
Thank you.
It's not like, oh, they just threw this together to put something out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the writing gets better every time that you guys.
Yeah, and the
make
3
something.
songs you played us tonight that will eventually come out
Yeah.
are completely different from the last. And every release has been a huge jump in your sound.
Yeah, one of the songs was even a holdover from the first album, but you
Yeah.
could tell where.
But it sounded
we
different because Justin
spruced
did
it.
the drums different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Justin, he was like, "This is a great song. You just need different drums."
Mm.
And because Justin wasn't with us for that first
Oh,
album,
right.
No, he did
not
that.
for the song.
He played drums on that song.
He did.
Yep.
He hated it though.
Yeah, he said he didn't like what he did, so he redid it.
Oh, okay, that's what it was. Yeah. Justin brought it back to life.
Yeah.
So
What I'll say about the whole women in metal thing, yeah, it goes back as far as the 80s and even further than that, but it's definitely more dominant now
yeah,
than
I
what it
mean,
used to be.
yeah. I mean, people don't realize how much Arch Enemy did for, like, I think they were kind of like the start, but then it's like Ginger and Spirit Box have kind of opened the floodgates of you can be girly. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Be very like, you know, you don't have to have this like rock, like heavy, you know, heaviness to you. Like you can still have that like softer side.
Yep.
And you don't have to be constantly headbanging, which I constantly headbang. So I'm like, oh, I don't have to headbang as much, but I still do it. But it's just they have like a very different air, and I think it's bringing in people to be like, oh, okay, I can resonate. That resonates with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't feel like it has to be like all mosh pits and stuff. Like you see like Tatiana, and she's doing like little get ready with me and doing her makeup and stuff like that. Not that women weren't like that before, but I think that might be the good thing about social media is you get to see them as,
Right.
you know what I mean,
Right,
like
as
they're
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that probably helps. But they're also extremely talented and crazy. And Ginger's been doing it for what, over 10 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've been around
Yeah,
since
it's-
like
Ginger's-
2010.
Yeah. And
So good for that. Like that's a band that's been
and that's a band that evolves with their sound with every record.
they've evolved insane, and her voice has evolved.
And even before those bands, you had bands like Nightwish and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the symphonic metal bands.
Right.
that
They
embraced
didn't
that
have
stuff
females
completely.
screaming as much.
Right,
Is what I was
yeah,
saying. Yeah, like
yeah.
those intense vocals.
The growling vocals. I mean, and like I said, back to the thrash bands in the 80s. I mean, you had Nuclear Death, who were not good. But she growled, death metal growls through the whole
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
you know? And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so. There was a band out of Buffalo called Inner Sanctum that I think was all female that did death metal.
Well, isn't
back in the late 80s.
Nervosa? They're another one that's
Yeah.
like
Yep.
they're awesome.
Nervosa,
People, yeah.
Nervosa and Crypta.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Crypto spawned out of Nervosa, right?
Yeah, like
Oh,
the
okay.
original vocalist from Nervosa is started Crypta.
Cool. Yeah. So I think it's becoming more of.
And Crisis you had in the 90s as
Yeah,
well. Karen Crisis doing
Her voice was very unique.
Yeah,
I don't
to
know.
say the least.
Oh, you told me about her. You told me
Yeah.
about her. Yeah.
Yeah, and she also had a great stage presence, and she was incredibly nice. So like
That goes a long way.
it does, it really does, because I didn't like them at first. I only heard a couple of songs. I was like, I don't know, and they were on Metal Blade, and the girl from Metal Blade said, go see them. They're playing the Haunt. Just go see them. I'm like, fine. And then like I saw them, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
They were really good. Holy crap.
It's crazy because some bands are just you see them live and it changes your
Yeah.
opinion.
And then she spent like an hour talking to us afterwards.
Wow.
And she was so nice, and I was just like, okay, I love you guys now. You
Yeah.
know?
And
Yeah.
like some of their later music, like if you were to listen to her and not like know her person or her personality, you would think you were going to get sacrificed.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
She is, yeah, she could be terrifying when she sings. And
Part
she's
of the
only like
VIP
she's
package.
like she's like 4
gotta pay
feet
for that.
tall and has dreads that touch the floor.
Oh wow.
I don't know if she still does, because now she's doing a completely different thing. But back then, I
Yeah.
mean,
I think she still had the dreads less picture. I see.
yeah. So, but yeah, she'd swing her head, and her dreads would just
Mm-hmm.
swing back and forth.
Sweep the
Yeah,
floor.
they were kind of similar to like Brian from Shadows Fall because he's got super long
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
remember them.
Oh, I grabbed a hold of those one time. I was in the front row for them, and Brian got on the barricade, and my friend had the big like gauged ears, and I just grabbed one of Brian's dreadlocks and stuck it in the. I was very mature.
It's all right.
So is there anything else people should know? Anything?
Follow us. I don't know.
You have the,
You're on
you have the
Facebook
face-
and
you
We're
have
on
the
Instagram,
group,
Facebook, TikTok. We have a Facebook group,
which is the-
Camp Scream.
Okay.
You have to be invited to it because otherwise we get a bunch of spam. So like you just have to.
Yeah.
You have to request to be a member just because we were getting so much like fake spam stuff
Yeah.
that I had
Yep.
to.
Do you have like the questions on there? It's like name 3 songs.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I did that, but I definitely was just like, yeah, I have to approve you. I can't just.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a lot.
Listen.
So yeah, we're on that. We have our website.
Watch me not
Don't
get
use
in.
X that much because we're just. We're trying to keep up with all this, so we
There's
just
so
keep
many,
up with the main
yeah.
ones. YouTube, I mean, we post our videos and sometimes we'll do some shorts, but through our website you can reach out to us that way too.
And
However,
that is just dramascream.com.
hmm
Okay.
finally, we had to wait for that to be released.
Really?
Yeah,
Somebody had that?
yeah,
Wow. Huh.
yeah.
An
Somebody.
old band member.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were just trying to get it in general, and someone
No,
back in the day
somebody
bought
had
drunk.
that, and we had to wait for it to
expire.
Yeah, so we can get
Okay.
it back. So
All right.
it's in our grasp.
Thank you for coming to play every year since 2018.
No
Yeah.
problem. Thank you for having
It's
us.
an annual thing now.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ceremonial.
You're the only band that's been able to do it because of COVID.
Yeah, well,
We had a couple other that were coming up every year. Some of them broke up, and one of them was trying to come up 2020, and it was like, yeah, I don't think this is lifting anytime soon.
yeah.
Should have just done it anyways.
Well, at the time, we
Like
only-
stay away. You
At,
know?
at the
Put
time, we
mask
only
on
had
the
the radio
microphones.
station, and the radio station was shut down.
Oh, that would make
Oh.
sense. Yeah, that's
so
harder.
there was
Oh,
like
yeah.
no option there.
Yeah, because that's hard. It's easier to do no contact here because you just set you like put your stuff in the garage and then we'll
Yeah.
yeah.
So, all
Well,
right.
thank
Well,
you.
thank you all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.